Well, greetings, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Lately, this has been a work in progress for a long, long time. In fact, we've had files talking about Simplexity U that probably go back 15 years. And we finally found a good technical partner here in Toronto area who's helped make this a reality. So we're really excited. Just a couple little quick housekeeping notices. We are recording this. And again, as I mentioned, if you are interested in a recording, or you know somebody's interested in recording, we will be sending the link. If you're interested in the slide deck, I'll be happy to send it to you, but I think there'll be enough, you'll see as we go on. It's a very short slide deck. The whole real point of this webinar is to give you guys a sense of what's underneath Simplexity U so you can go out and log in and tour the site yourselves. But we wanted to present it in a little more formal environment. We thought the webinar might be the best way to do it. So I will be we will have a little question and answer period at the end of this session, and I will be collecting questions. So use your webinar console and please send us any questions that you might have. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to get into the next into the presentation. The first, let me just get this started here. Today's agenda. We'll talk a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today. First item is just give everybody a bit of a review, or for some of you might see it for the first time, what we call the Simplexity Thinking Skills Progression Ladder, and what that kind of looks like in terms of how we get a lot of emails and people asking us about certification. This gives you a little sense on how the Simplexity thinking skills, how you progress and how you gain skills, and what the ladder looks like. Why do we build Simplexity U? There's sort of 6 bullet points underneath it. You can see we're going to talk a little bit about each one of those bullet points to give you all a sense of why we built this website. How the site and the curriculum is structured and organized, very important. We put a lot of thought into how we develop the site. We feel it has a pretty good flow that actually ties in nicely with the progression ladder. We talk about the basics of Simplexity thinking, and we get into the advanced topics. We know we have a big audience of academic type people. We get lots of requests for our research and the articles we've written, so we have a section of the site dedicated to that. And we're also going to take you on a little Simplexity U tour. I'll show you a quick snippet of what one of the actual courses looks like. I'm not going to get into the to play the course, but you can actually see, and then when you have some time on your own, you can actually go through the whole entire course. Research opportunities, very important. Min's going to chat a little more on that, and we'll be passing the mic over to him. We really want to engage people and really take some steps on creating more two-way communication. And obviously, we'll finish with some next steps and questions. So a little bit about the Simplexity Skills Progression Ladder, and I included on the right-hand side the real essence of what we're talking about here. Many of you have had even level 1, level 2, some of you have had level 3. A few of you had some introductory, you've probably attended our webinars, you've tuned in, you've been through our website, you've looked at a number of things. That would be what we call somebody who has an introductory kind of experience or exposure to Simplexity thinking. Level 1, which is often a course we teach here over 2 days, we call Using Applied Creativity or Using Simplexity Thinking. It's the ability to really understand the process. And if you've actually attended every webinar we've done to date, we've kind of taken you on a mini tour, but it's just not quite the same as being in a physical workshop and being there in person and going through all the different exercises. But you all will have a pretty good idea of the different steps within Simplexity thinking. Level 2 is really leading. That's where we teach people how to be a facilitator and lead a session. But we also teach the different roles within a Simplexity application session, which one would be being the client or the owner of the challenge or the work problem that you're working on. Another one is a participant, helping that owner to solve a problem. And the third part is, leading a team of people through the process. That's kind of teaching facilitation. So that's the level 2 we call the ability to lead a session. Level 3, which is kind of the highest level we have outside of what we call the Professional Innovation Advisor designation, are for people. These are people we are calling integrators, and these people are taught basically train the trainer how to teach. They're able to teach people in the process. They're able to consult in the process, and they're really catalysts of integrating the process within an organization. They have a really good high-level understanding of how do we get lots of people thinking and saying how might we in creating that language of innovation. Why did we build Simplexity U? Well, we know many people benefit from Simplexity U. I certainly do, because all the emails that I get from people, and I can tell you it's gratifying when you see the global audience that we have and people emailing me. We sent profiles to New Zealand last week, so we know people are interested in Simplexity thinking, but staying, we're not as close to it as we are. Having a website that is dedicated to Simplexity thinking and everything we've done from a learning and research standpoint in one place, this is really going to benefit those people. We know it's difficult to travel great distances to attend a workshop. Not to mention that the workshops are costly and they run several days, hard to get away from work. Getting people who are untrained. We know people who have gone to our training and going out to try to run sessions can be very difficult. We know from firsthand, running workshops with people who have never been exposed to any kind of Simplexity thinking, maybe all they've ever even taken is the profile. How do you get them up to speed quickly to help them become better participants to run a better session? Another reason we built Simplexity U is we've had a comprehensive body of knowledge, but it's never been kind of in one place. It's been held internally inside our own little file servers here at our office, and if you email me, I might send you an article or I might send you a link, but we've never had one place where it's all one, a one-stop shop, so to speak, and this has always been a goal of ours. And lastly, and really importantly, is really working hard to try to create more of a two-way communication where we'd love to tap into, especially those of you who have gone through the training or out on your own or working inside an organization, to create more of a two-way dialogue, to understand more what you're doing, to showcase more what you're doing, to do some research together, help answer questions, have people connect people. We've had, how do you connect somebody, different practitioners and learners of Simplexity thinking, and so you guys can ask each other questions and learn from each other. So these are all kind of some of the features that we're trying to build. A little bit about memory recall. Unless you start, we know this firsthand. How many people we in fact give everybody who graduates from one of our workshops what we call a no excuses kit, which means there's no excuse that you couldn't go out and run a session. We also know that within a week or two after attending a workshop, if you're not applying what you've learned, you're going to start to lose it. So we hope that people who tap into Simplexity, if you're trying to remember how does that challenge mapping thing work, or what do I say or what do I don't say, and how do I make sure I do a good job there, well, Simplexity U is going to work well for you. We've got all kinds of modules and videos and quick tips and even all our webinars, so we can really help you deepen your understanding. Proximity, I've talked about this a little bit earlier, and this is pretty self-explanatory. We know a lot of people are located far away. In fact, we get people coming to our workshops. We've got people attend. We're outside of Toronto and often run these workshops in Cincinnati, Ohio with some, but we know if you're coming from Europe, you're coming from South America, we've had people come from Brazil. It's tough to get here, and we don't offer them that frequently. We've had people from Norway, Scandinavia, so anything we can do to bring e-learning. I think this is probably why e-learning has grown so much across the board for everyone, is that people are able to tune in and learn from their computer and when it's most convenient. So lastly, the profile we have available in many languages on our website, but we also have materials in Spanish and French, and we're working hard on how to get some of that material up on Simplexity U. So that's a focus of ours, to try to, because I think our second largest audience outside of North America is in Spain and in Central America, so we know how important Spanish is. Cost of travel, a workshop is almost $2,000. Time away from work is very difficult. Many years ago, our level 1 and level 2 was a 5-day workshop. We've managed to whittle that down to 3 days, try to do everything we can to maximize the learning and learning opportunities that you can do ahead of time, to trim that down to 3 days. So now our level 1 and 2 is a 3-day workshop. And we know training budgets, we've seen that firsthand. You know, often in tough times, training budgets are cut. So one of the only ways companies can manage to train large groups of people is to get into an e-learning environment. This is very important for people who are trying to run sessions. You get a group of people who have never been exposed to Simplexity thinking. We know, especially those implementers out there who want to know where we're going, to give people a sense of, hey, this is a process. It's got certain steps. And right now we're maybe in problem definition doing challenge mapping. You've got to be patient. And if you can give people a sense of this up front, they're going to be a much better participant. And they're not going to ask that question, and they're not going to try to derail that facilitator, which we've often seen happen. And obviously, you know, it's so much easier for somebody just to tune into their computer and talk, you know, learn about this. When they might be hearing this, how might we, around the office. This is a great way to sort of spread awareness of this language, a language of innovation. We talked about this too. Research articles have always been available kind of, you know, inside, kind of locked down inside our file server here. Now they are all available on Simplexity U. Every single one of them go back to like 1980. So for those of you, especially in the academic arena, it's a great way for you to access the knowledge and find the articles you're looking for. Our websites are hugely content rich, and we've now really worked hard to try to, you know, not only open up the content, but organize it in a way that makes a lot of sense, that really flows well. And a big goal for us is to constantly be adding content and add new materials and articles and courses every month, and sometimes on a weekly basis. And lastly, we know how important experiential learning is to people, and especially today's workforce. It's a fundamental concept. We're trying to embed that into Simplexity U. We certainly anticipate that communicating research shared experience in the trenches will continue to be a driver for Simplexity's evolution. And it's a real way for us to build this two-way communication that we've really never had, other than, you know, some emails back and forth. And it's not only but back and forth between Min and I and him and our team here, but also between each other. We've got people in so many different places that are using Simplexity, and we're hoping this is a great way to connect all of you together to ask questions, answer questions, and really maybe participate in some research opportunities, which we'll go into a bit later. As many of you may know, and some of you may not know, but we're pretty prolific here. In the last 5 years, we've published at least 10 research articles, conducted at least 12, maybe 15 webinars, developed lots of videos, 30 plus, and designed a bunch of different courses. So it's all been locked down. It's now available. We've had some e-workshops available through the Ambassador Profile website that were kind of really locked down before, hard to access, but now they're much easier to access. And we're starting to create even more courses around sort of advanced topics, which we are getting into specific applications to very specific problems, like, you know, integrating Lean and Six Sigma in the business and injecting more innovation creativity into that, talking about strategic planning. We are doing new product development, lots of different applications, specific applications where we can actually take people through a step-by-step kind of program in that. The site structure is as follows. I kind of highlighted this a little bit. There's 4 essential sections here. The first one is called the basics of Simplexity thinking. And this is really kind of the front end of Simplexity. We talk about the Ambassador Profile, an overview of the 8-step process. We talk about each of the steps in the process. All those webinars we've done, each step is inside this section, where you can watch a webinar on fact finding, you can watch a webinar on problem definition, gaining acceptance. You also are going to have 2 courses in here, and I'm going to show those a little bit later, where we talk about an overview of Simplexity thinking, but also a walkthrough and a course, step-by-step walkthrough. That, as much as it's not exactly like attending a public workshop, it is very, you know, along the lines of how we do run our workshops, you know, step-by-step, and some of the exercises that we use. So they're very informative. Advanced topics is where we're getting into more specific applications of Simplexity thinking to real work-related challenges that most of you probably have encountered or will understand. a section devoted entirely on articles and research. And we have a fourth section we're not going to get into a lot here because we don't have a lot of people that have gone through our Professional Innovation Advisor program, certification programs, a 2-day workshop that we run. Most of the people who have been through the PIA program, as we call it, are level 3 graduates. But it really, we have a special section dedicated to helping them build their practice, specific case studies, and different types of courses that kind of build on the training that they've had. And you know, feel free to email me or myself later if you're interested in the Professional Innovation Advisor program. We'd be happy to talk to you about it. But these folks who have kind of reached to the highest designation in Simplexity thinking have access to everything on the website. Content is, you know, on the slide is pretty self-explanatory. We've got case studies, courses, webinars, articles, research articles, all kinds of stuff in there. Everything that we've kind of put together over the last 30+ years. And the basics of Simplexity thinking, I probably redundant here, but we have case studies, courses, 2 courses that we've done, an orientation to Simplexity thinking, a walkthrough of the Simplexity system, lots of videos, webinars, tools and resources, and articles. Videos, which I'll show when I try to take you through, you get a little sense of little snippets of videos that are specific to applications like a divergent, converge, the IX problem, lots of different things that we use in our workshops, where Min gives you a little bit more detailed explanation of what we mean. Advanced topics, we have 1 course in there right now called Strategic Planning Made Simple, but we do plan to add more courses as time goes on. Lots of white papers, more videos that are specific to application of Simplexity thinking. Webinars, we've done 3. We have a 4th one coming up where we talk about applying Simplexity thinking to entrepreneurship, something we call design-centered entrepreneurship, and lots of tools and resources. Research articles, everything's there in PDF for to download, and gold members can download the articles. So as a silver member, all the content is available as on your computer, but as a gold member, you can download the actual files. Again, I've talked a little about this, so I'm going to kind of skip through this fairly quickly, but Professional Innovation Advisors are kind of have access to everything. And one thing about the Professional Innovation Advisors, as part of becoming a Professional Innovation Advisor, they're paying an annual fee to be part of the center. We give them access to the Simplexity U site as part of them being a PIA. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit here and go into the actual website. So part of my screen, and I am going to just log in and out. I'm going to log out, and I'm going to show people how to register. There's a basic registration process here. I'm a member. There's some of the pricing information. There is a Simplexity, try Simplexity U free for 30 days tab here. So I encourage everybody to do this who's attending here today. You can start a free trial, and you can access Simplexity U for 30 days. And it doesn't cost anything. All you have to do is come up with a username and password, first name, and become a member. So it's pretty straightforward. So anyway, I just want to let everybody know that exists. And I am going to log in now, and I'm going to show people a little bit about. So I've just put my password in, and you'll see the first page when you're welcome is there are the learning streams, the basics of Simplexity thinking, advanced topics, research and academic papers, Professional Innovation Advisor. So if I click on the basics of Simplexity thinking, there's the page, home page. And again, there's some text that describes what we're trying to do here. The first set of, there's an item here called case studies called Hospital Wait Times Reduced with Simplexity Thinking. So here's an article, case study of some work we did in healthcare that we've offered people. You can read that. 2 courses here, Orientation to Simplexity Thinking, a walkthrough of the Simplexity system, which I talked about, videos, good problem solving, think simple. These are all little snippets of videos with Min describing various parts of the process. The IX problem, many of you have attended a workshop. In the fact finding, we do something called the IX problem. Add 1 line to make 6. What's the innovative results equation? We talk about that. It all starts with problem finding, deferral of judgment. So these are very specific pieces of Simplexity, the Simplexity thinking and the Simplexity thinking system, where we go into a little more detail. And maybe it's the next best thing to actually being here. There's lots of videos in there to for you to watch and learn more. Webinars. Again, we've done a lot of webinars. And in fact, the way we built and designed our webinars to start is we started with Ambassador Profile. We did a full webinar, we called it a deep dive into the Ambassador Profile. That one's there. We did an overview of Simplexity thinking where we kind of did a highlight of this, the profile and the 8 different steps and some of the skills and tools that are embedded in Simplexity thinking. Then we took you on a journey where we started with problem finding, fact finding, problem definition, each of the steps. So each of these steps is detailed in a webinar. And I know many of you probably have tuned in, so some of these you may have already seen before. But all our webinars, which have previously been posted on our website for the world to kind of see, are going to now be phased over into Simplexity U. The most recent webinar that we'll have done will be kind of up on our website for about 30 days, but we're now going to move all these, all the previous webinars inside Simplexity U. So they're only going to be available for people who are members of Simplexity U. We talk a little bit about tools and resources. There's a whole bunch of stuff that, a lot of this stuff is out of our workshop books, where we've taken pieces and snippets of information that we felt would be valuable and useful and great learning instruments. They're available. Quadrants, profile overview, the skills progression ladder, overview of the process, killer phrases. Those are all in there, and again, a whole bunch of articles. There's just all kinds of material there. I'll show you a quick snippet of what a course looks like. I'm not going to get into showing the entire course because they're about 45 minutes long. Here's the walkthrough of the Simplexity system. So when you click on that, there is a whole bunch of material that is very similar to what we do in a physical workshop, and all the examples, the Irish Spring example, why would stopping, challenge mapping. So those of you who have gone through a workshop, there's lots of stuff here to kind of relearn some of the things and just deepen your understanding. And for those who haven't understood it here before, then it's there's even more there for you. We've got music coming in here. Okay. Somebody playing music in the background?
I think, Bob, that may be in the presentation.
Not sure how. Okay, well, regardless, I'm not sure where it's coming from, but it's here. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my presentation here. I'm going to go into advanced topics. I apologize for this music in the background. I don't know where it's coming from. Okay.
There must be, hey Bob, there must be another thing we do, which is called iTunes, and that's meant to be funny. But I don't know what's happening either.
I don't know. It's not on your computer, is it?
No.
Okay. I'm just gonna mute you for a second just to make sure.
Muted.
No. Sorry, guys.
Unmuted.
Not sure. Okay, that got rid of it.
Yep.
Not sure where that's much better. Okay. Going to advanced topics. Sorry for the technical situation there. I'm not sure what happened. Here's a course called Strategic Planning Made Simple. If you click on Strategic Planning Made Simple, we did a webinar on this. This is kind of the course that launched the webinar, where we talk about all the different steps of mission, vision, values, pillars, goals. There's a whole workshop related to strategic planning and with Simplexity thinking. So this is a great course that we developed. And there'll be more. We've got white papers, organizational roadblocks to creativity and facilitation, effective coach, participant. There's a lot of videos using the process, how Min used the process to write his book. For you aspiring authors out there, there might be something that how you can use Simplexity thinking. We are going to get into an entrepreneurship webinar because we just published a book with some folks from Ball State, Professor Mike Goldsby That's going to be published later this year, and we're going to be talking about that in our next webinar, but this eventually will show up in the advanced top section of the website. So there's 3 webinars there now. The last one we did on busting silos was Simplexity Thinking, tools and resources, and again, many more things that are going to come about. If you go into research and academic papers, I will show you a little bit of all the research abstracts are there. So if you, the first one is called Training and Creative Problem Solving Effects on Ideation and Problem Finding. There is that, there's the abstract, and then there's the download, the full research paper here, which we'll download as a PDF.
Yeah,
so
Bob,
every research article.
Yeah, Bob, if I could say, what often these are very significant publications, but we don't give people enough chance to really absorb and understand. And for example, this was a hallmark paper that actually proved that if you do really good training in creative problem solving, Simplexity, you can definitely influence and make people work differently, and you get success and results from this kind of thing. You get better results, you get people who can say, how might we, and it actually works. Nobody had done that research before, and nobody had ever tried to understand a complete process like Simplexity. And that basically is something you can use everywhere, which is saying this stuff works, and we've proven that it works. And it isn't something that is, oh, does that stuff work or not? So yes, it does. If you are a really good Simplexity person, it will work, and you can rest assured with clients that it does work, and rest assured yourself. But this is something that was my dissertation, and it basically somehow has been hidden a lot in the literature, but it can be understood simply. It's not that bad. You got some time to go through it. It is amazingly an important thing that we're based on. So many of these are things that we know that work, but we would like to make sure that all of you know the really fundamental research that's been designed and done that proves that what we're talking about really is true, and it's not pie in the sky, quote unquote, creativity stuff. Okay, so I'll back off, Bob. That's my soapbox.
Great. No, thank you. Well, that's sort of the tour. I mean, most of this is pretty self-explanatory, so I encourage people to, sign up for the 30-day trial and just go through the site. And again, we're going to be adding stuff all the time, and that's really important. But there's a lot of stuff here that there's no point in me showing you. Check out the courses, check out some of the articles, and have a look around. I'm going to go back to my slideshow because I only have a couple more slides left, and I'm going to open up this to people to ask questions. I guess before I do too much here, I would say, Min, maybe you want to talk a little bit about the research opportunities that are out there, and get people to start thinking about that and how they might be able to participate, and if they're interested in participating, especially.
Yeah, so let me just say that the word research here is not designed to scare anybody off. This is really questions that we'd like to explore further, and they can be done. Research will be finding out. All of our research is done in the trenches. Everything. You're working with a group of people, and all of a sudden you discover something you didn't know. And then we say, hey, that's a learning, and then we publicize that learning, and we establish it as part of Simplexity. For example, here are questions that people come up with. One is, for example, a lot of organizations and people that I know really well are saying, it's really funny, the different generations come along. And one is, are millennials, are they different from everybody else? Well, we will be able to be doing exploration on, and we're doing it right now. Are millennials different in their scatter diagram, their styles? How about Generation Y people, Generation X people? Are they different in how they approach problems and how they look at things? Help to understand why different people and how different people can contribute to organizations, even though they're coming at it with a different mindset. How do the different generations, different attitudes for deferral of judgment, behaviors, how they operate in groups? the skills that they have in terms of creativity. That's a good question. Do they differ, or are they all the same? Another one is, hey, are there ways that I can deliver results more efficiently? For example, I've only got 4 hours, but if I know this group well, their scatter diagram, I can say, you know what? They're already good at uh, evaluation, selection, problem definition. Maybe if I can concentrate on steps 1, 2, 3, 4 or more, I'll get them to 8 faster. Are there ways we can deliver faster in this fast-paced world where it's hard to get people to come for a day? For questions like that, how do we do it more efficiently? And we're always looking at, like Bob said before, used to be 5 days for a level 1 or 2. Now it's 3 days. And we're getting more and more efficient all the time and understanding better. Another big one that managers are always asking, and these come out from discussions, how do we get people out of the process, move around the process rather than kind of stay in their favorite silo or stage that they're in? How do we move them around? How do we motivate them? How do we build intrinsic motivation plus extrinsic to move people around? Questions that people are asking. How do we get them out of their silos? How do we increase leadership capability? We feel that Simplexity has a lot to do with leadership, very much. How do we increase that for leaders everywhere? How do we get leaders to motivate people? And how do we emphasize the collaborative innovation that we do to engage people? How do we get further into that? How do we catalyze things like EQ, emotional coefficient? When people do discover some of their inhibitions or things that are holding them back, how can we couple that with creative problem solving, Simplexity, to get people to be much better at their emotional quotient? How do we increase transparency? This is a big problem in problem solving where people will go into a session and are afraid to say what they're thinking, and how do we get people to be more transparent and build organizations that encourage transparency? How do we use trust, and how do we increase trust by using Simplexity? How do we measure what we do? Career development, career selection. How do we use Simplexity helping people pick good careers for them? How do we help them switch if they have to? Hiring practices. To what extent can we get? We believe that Simplexity can help in the hiring situation. How do we get more people to say, okay, how do I actually help our career, our hiring do better? Healthcare. We have an amazing record in healthcare. How do we do more to get people to understand how you really do good healthcare leadership? How do you do it? And how do we get the word out and get people to understand? There are many, many opportunities to whatever you're doing and whatever you run into and say, you know, I'd like to find more about this or be able to emphasize that more. These are all possibilities for us to engage. And there's only so much we here can do, but boy, if we can engage people like yourselves in saying, I'm willing to do a little bit of work on that. I'm willing to gather some data, and we could work together. And this can often lead to certainly strengthening our consulting skills, but also develop the opportunity to maybe put your name on a publication of some kind. So we're looking for a lot of joint work together where we can discuss questions that are arising and really deepen the amount of penetration we have into very, very other related topics that we're into. Okay, Bob. So that's about all I can say about that.
You know, I think that's good. You said a lot, so that's good. Just going to talk about membership options because somebody's asked me a question. We have different levels. The silver plan is $20 a month, so you can go an annual billing, save some money. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's on the website. If you're interested in an enterprise plan, so you have lots of people or a number of people that you would like to have access to Simplexity U, I would just suggest, and the next slide is pretty straightforward, email me. And I will be, we don't have set pricing. We're actually, you know, a lot of this is new to us. So we're going to work out, really the goal is to have a win-win situation for everybody. We offer academic and corporate pricing for our profile, and we will do the same for Simplexity use. So if you have an interest for your organization, multiple people, multiple teams, that kind of thing, just email me after this webinar or the next couple weeks, and we'll see if we can work something out. But we are definitely keen on having enterprises and universities and different colleges, whatever, who would have lots of people who might be interested to set something up that works. So I'm going to switch it over to questions now, and that was one question I had, was about would it be available to an organization. So again, the best one, anybody enters an organizational account, it needs to just email me. And somebody else, regarding over the next 30 days, everything that your 30-day trial, basically you can access everything, all the courses, all the articles, it's all there. So there's no limitation to that 30-day trial, or it's all there. So not to worry. We're really trying to get people to use it, spread the word. We're not in here to become millionaires per se. We just want to spread the knowledge of Simplexity thinking, and I hope this is a step in the right direction. And for a lot of people, we know how difficult it is to train people in the thinking. Many of you have only touched on the profile, but we know lots of people are interested that there's a lot more behind it. The profile is just one piece of the puzzle, so to speak. This is a great way to spread awareness, get people to start thinking and learning more in a very inexpensive way, as opposed to attending a workshop. And maybe some of those folks, you want to get to the next level where they become certified as a facilitator or leader of the methodology, and that would be the next step, that they can come here, or we can go your way. We do a lot of in-house workshops and train people, but ultimately this is a one-stop place for everything Simplexity thinking. I got another question here. Have you considered creating a high-quality 5 to 10 minute intro video? It's interesting that somebody, Mark Breen, that's a good question. We are actually undertaking a video right now. It's actually going to be probably more of an animated style, fun style, just really probably more about 2.5 to 4 minutes on the whole Simplexity thinking system, how the process skills, the tools and the styles and the content all mesh together in a really neat, fun but informative video. And we're just working on the script as we speak. We've kind of created one version of it. We want to create something that is really universally appealing, fun and creative at the same time. So stay tuned. That'll probably be that's something we will probably, to the world. It's not something we're going to put behind closed doors. A lot of the courses that we want to build, I think, are going to be built on that format as well, and that formula as well, where we're going to do a little bit more shorter type courses, a little more animation and illustrations to explain what's behind the methodology. Don't really have any more questions. I really want to thank people. I hope this was informative, and again, I encourage anybody to email Min and myself, especially me. This has kind of been my baby from day one, from the technology standpoint. We're learning as we go. I think that's is obviously important. A couple questions here. Would access to the Ambassador Profile Assessment be available for which package? Right now, we don't kind of have the two integrated, but again, we would talk, offline on how we would organize the profile with the package. Most of you, especially from an organizational standpoint, who are using the profile have some type of an organizational account, and to add the profiles and the Simplexity U together would be something we would just create some type of formula that works. It's very difficult to integrate it all from an e-commerce standpoint and connect one account, but we would definitely want to make sure that people who are using the profile or have a profile account, that this is a natural extension. The user ID and password for somebody who's got a profile account would be different, because the sites are completely different and even completely different technology. But ultimately, our long-term goal is to actually build a Simplexity exchange program where we actually start doing online problem solving. We build the methodology so you can apply it to real problems and real challenges out there, and go through the steps in a web environment. But more details to follow on that, one step at a time. But Again, email me offline if you're interested in how it might connect the profile or your organization's profile account to Simplexity U. Be happy to have that conversation and figure something out that works. Somebody talking about good speaker notes. Again, we could talk off. We've got a lot of speaker notes. So I think it's difficult for us to give too much in terms of the speaker notes, but we do have a number of presentations we've done over the years and slide decks that have some notes with them. A lot of it is kind of embedded. We're starting to do transcript all our webinars. So look for some of that kind of stuff going forward. We're going to turn a lot of our webinar transcripts into potential books, potential other course typeware. So slowly but surely we're transcribing all our webinars. I think we've got 3 done so far. So anybody interested in speaker notes will be, I'm sure there'll be stuff in these transcriptions that will help. So again, stay in tune with us, stay in touch with us. Let us know what you're looking for. That's part of that two-way conversation. Don't assume we don't have it, and don't assume that we can't put something together that could be a win-win for both of us. We're trying hard to build up the the supporting materials for all the material that we have, because we know we have a great deal of content.
Bob, another example of that might be if someone said, gee, I'm going to put a group through a session to solve this problem. I'd love to tell them the hot wax story as a fact-finding device, and gee, I wish I could tell like Min does. Well, possibilities, you can tune in and you can get that. You can have Min actually giving that hot wax story, for example, and just plug it into the into your presentation, what you're doing. So there are many things, snippets like that that you can grab and help you out a bit if you're a little nervous about getting something across.
Yeah, and the site being, it's not static. We have courseware that we've built over the years that needs a little bit of tweaking before we add it to the website, like teaching resources, how to teach, how to train. We've built some resources for trainers. It's not here right now. We've developed an entire course on the profile that's not here. We work with another that we're working on, trying to figure out the fine line. How do we do that? How do we have more courseware where there's questions and quiz type questions at the end, so we can start doing certification? One big area that we want to do is profile certification, certify people in the profile so you really understand the profile and are what we call a certified profile administrator. We have done some webinars with some specific clients where they have tuned in, but now we want to start doing that kind of stuff where there's maybe it's a 1 or 2 hour webinar that you can, or a course that you can tune in with questions at the end. When you complete that, you would be granted a certified profile administrator credentials, and can use that in your collateral and your work materials. So those are all the things we're thinking of. And again, if people are interested in more or have other questions or have some ideas you want to throw our way, please do, and love to hear from you. So that's kind of all we have for now. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We know how busy you are, and look forward to those questions, and look forward to getting, let me know, let us know what you think. We're open to comments, feedbacks, critique, whatever comes our way. This is a work in progress, and we encourage and look forward to hearing from everybody. Okay. So thank you again for tuning in. Min, thank you for your participation.
Thanks, Bob.
And welcome everybody to Simplexity U. Have a great day.